Miss you guys. We hope you guys have had a great holiday. Good start to your 2025. We've had some more playoff games played. We've got wild card games coming up. We got basketball, golf. It seems like we got a lot of stuff going on. Australian Open coming up. So we got our tennis expert in the building tonight. uh, but first and foremost, I want to give a few quick shout outs. I want to shout out all the people in LA. We're keeping you in our thoughts. Hopefully, this can get under control. And Jose, I know you live in LA, and I'm glad to see you're safe and you're here with us tonight.
Yeah, to be
Um,
honest with you, it seems like it's getting under control these last couple hours. So hopefully it continues to go in that direction. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, to anyone that's been affected by it directly,
Hmm.
our thoughts go out to them. So hopefully everyone makes it out
Yeah.
safe and we can move forward.
Yeah. I know this is a little cheesy, but I want to shout out my wife. If you're watching, she's at the hospital with her mom. She's not been doing too well, so I love you, Nola, and I miss you, and I'll see you soon.
Always up.
I'm here if you need me. And then I want to give out one more or two more shout outs. First of all, I wore my Vols shirt tonight, baby, to shout out them getting blown out by Florida in basketball and getting blown out by Ohio State in football. That's the team I know right here, the Vols. And then the last but not least, probably the biggest shout out of the week, I got to shout out my boy Hideki Matsuyama shooting a PGA Tour record, 35 under, winning the century, and keeping me positive for the month of December, January, whatever, because I've had a rough run in basketball. But let me tell you what, I'm a golf expert and I can throw out some golf winners, baby. So shout out to Hideki Matsuyama pulling off the win at the century at 21 odds.
Let me give a shout out too because I'm wearing their shirt. I bought it at the Rose Bowl when I was there last weekend. I think we all need to put some respect on Ryan Day's name, on Buck Nuts. I told you guys before the playoffs started. Win, lose, or draw, it does not matter. If Ohio State is playing that night, just know you're going to be entertained. There's going to be
Yeah.
drama. There's going to be high level athletes on the field. It does not matter. Whatever, throw all the records out. Throw whatever preconceived notions about Ohio State. When the Buckeyes are playing, when the lights are the brightest, they will put on a show. It may be bad, it
Mm-hmm.
may be good. I don't know. I'm not saying they're gonna put on a great, but it will be interesting. Is the point I'm trying to get across. Maybe I'm a temporary Bucknuts fan. I've been riding them the last few weeks, but hey, we've been cashing, right, T? So Ryan Day, I hope you keep your job.
Yeah, they've been catching easy too. I mean, we ain't had to
Easy,
Man,
worry about anything.
easy.
Ohio State's
Easiest bets of the
moved
whole playoff.
to they
Bucknuts.
have
Yeah.
they moved to a minus 145 to win the national championship. And they certainly look like the team to beat. They look like the best team in the country, and it's not even close. One of my futures makes it out of the weekend at least. Notre Dame is still alive. I don't know for how much longer. Um, if they end up going against Ohio State, I'll have to figure something out because right now Ohio State looks unstoppable. But anyways, let's recap these games real quick. Couple more double digit wins. Other than that Arizona State Texas game, which was an absolute banger of a game, one of the best games of the year. Huge shout out to Cam Scatabo, played his heart out, throwing up all on the sidelines, getting back in there, threw for a touchdown, ran touchdown in. He had like over 250 some yards. First time ever the losing team player has won offensive MVP. So shout out to Cam Scatabo and Arizona State for hanging in there with Texas.
Hey, and,
Um,
and really quick mention, real quick, John, in regards to Arizona State, just be on the lookout for them next year. I know the Big 12 is kind of a topsy turvy league where the teams you expect to be good one year suck and it kind of rotates. But as far as Arizona State's concerned, they have no players in the portal. Like the only
mhm.
player they're going to lose is Scatabo. Levitt, it's already been announced he's going to return. They gave him a new deal. So just be aware
Kenny
of
Dillingham, he
yeah,
got a
Kenny
new
Dillingham
deal.
will be back. He got a new deal. So Arizona State should have all the dominoes in play for next season. So we'll see exactly how it plans out. But as of right now, a lot of hype.
And I could see a lot of players wanting to go to that school to play for Kenny Dillingham at this
Hmm.
point for what he's done with that program and the hype they have around him. So, but yeah, Tyler, you got anything to add to any of those games? I know a couple of them were blowouts. Ohio State did look like the best team, and we all can agree on that. Texas struggled with Arizona State, but I don't want to overreact there. Arizona State's a good ball team.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add in there, Tyler?
Oh yeah, they kind of got hosed a little bit. That should have been targeting 1,000% on that
Yeah.
play, but nah, it was a good game. Penn State cashed again,
Mhm.
slowly creeping back into my good graces. Should they have cashed? Probably not, but they did. So uh, I don't know about this weekend, this matchup, but we'll see. But no, there's some fire games. I mean, kind of. I think this is kind of like a trial run for the playoff,
Yeah.
where they'll get rid of auto bids and, or at least for the top four conference championship type deal, and I think going forward we'll see the playoff have a lot better structure to it. I think this was just kind of,
Yeah.
this is what we want to do. Let's do it this way this time. We'll figure out the rest of it, the logistics after we do it once and kind of
Mhm.
see how it lines out. So
Yeah.
I think it's overall been fire though, even with the
Yeah.
blowouts. I think it's still been all right.
And then that Notre Dame Georgia game, I do want to shout out to the people and the families in New Orleans that lost loved ones. It's sad to see that. You, you're also in our thoughts, but that was a pretty good game as well, in my opinion. I did enjoy that game, regardless of Georgia losing. Um, Kirby's already hit the portal for us, and he's addressing what I would considered our biggest need was wide receiver. I know he's already signed about two or three guys out of the portal, bigger names, and um, we got to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. And I know Jose, you kind of mentioned that you thought Stockton played pretty well, and you're curious if what he'll do next year, right?
Yeah, at this point, I would be pretty surprised if he wasn't the QB1 next year, John. I don't know what the word is over there
Yeah,
in
Rashad
Athens,
is
but
out, so
Rashad is out. He has really no competition as it stands, and I just thought he played well. Like I don't think, I know Tyler, you watched the game as well, T, and we both had money on Georgia. I don't think Georgia lost because of Gunnar Stockton. Like,
No, not at all.
I thought he played. I thought he played more than fine. I thought he was capable.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
mhm,
his receivers cannot catch for shit. I forget who
mhm,
it was. Was it Dylan Bell that had like a ridiculous drop? I
yeah,
don't remember exactly what player it was. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because they scored on that drive anyways. But even still, like you can't drop a pass like that, man. So I know Georgia led the country in drops, so Kirby has to go get more receivers. He has no choice. But I thought Stockton overall played. I was impressed with him. I think he has a real future at quarterback. Whether or not it's at Georgia, we'll see. But
mhm,
really, I thought he played fine.
Yeah, I think they should keep him. Do whatever they needed to keep him. I thought, especially like with zero expectations of
Yeah,
him
and
coming in the game at any time.
the offensive line too. They played horrible. Like, that
They
was
did
one of
play
the
really
worst
bad.
offensive line showings I've seen out of Georgia in years since Kirby's really turned this thing around. That was horrible. So
Their left tackle got whooped like all night,
yeah, and they were
like
playing against a
whooped.
great defense. All things considered, I thought Stockton played really, really well. I was really
Yeah,
impressed. John, and you're the Georgia fan. What do you think of him?
yeah. I do think they played well. I mean, obviously, receiver was another hurt. I enjoyed the freshman Frazier. He'll be good if he sticks around, and it sounds like he's going to. They also got the receiving back in Cash. It sounds like he'll be back. He'll be a big part of the offense. Little lightning thunder next year. Stockton, he does remind me a little bit of a bigger Aaron Murray, in my opinion. Back when Aaron Murray used to play quarterback for Georgia, just maybe a little bit more mobile than Murray was, but I think he'll be just fine. He'll kind of settle into the role. Georgia will. I'm sure they have signed some quarterbacks in recruiting wise, but I'm sure they'll also get one more in the portal just to kind of give them a little competition and have some assurance back behind him. But I think we'll be just fine. Kirby Smart's a great coach and an incredible recruiter, so I'm excited for next year. And last but not least, Penn State, they just stomped Boise. You guys got anything you want to say about that? I mean, the defense showed up and you know held Genty to I don't even know how many yards. I'll look at it, but he
I
seemed
still
to.
think he had over 100 yards, like 126 yards or
Mhm.
something. I don't know. Out of all like the group of five teams, or even Indiana or whatever, like I feel like this game was a lot closer than
Then it
what the
showed.
score actually showed.
Yeah.
Turnovers just killed him. Absolutely
Mhm.
killed him.
Maddox Matson played great.
Yeah, he played great. Other than the one, I feel like that one interception was a pretty bad interception.
The one
Um,
at the end or the one
yeah,
he threw like in the third quarter?
no, yeah, like earlier in the half.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then Genty fumbling twice. So I mean, turnovers just kind of killed them. Whenever you turn the ball over that many times, you normally don't have a chance. So, but overall, outside of that, I thought they played a really good game. Um,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, Penn State maybe playing their best ball right now
Yeah,
and got the better of them.
definitely. We could definitely see that. And talking about Penn State here, let's go into that first matchup tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. Notre Dame and Penn State. Spread is Notre Dame -1 over under 45.5. Sounds like Jeremiah Love is going to give it a go. It also sounds like Abdul Carter for Penn State on the defensive line is also going to give it a go. He seems most likely to play, probable. I have a future on Notre Dame here, so I'm just gonna keep riding it out until it loses, and it'll probably be this week against Penn State. I expect a pretty defensive battle here, but Jose, I'll kind of let you dive into this, and we'll go from there and piggyback off you here.
Well, here's the thing with Notre Dame, and I'll break both teams down real quick because I broke this game down a little bit in my notes earlier, and I was just trying to put it together and how Notre Dame got this far. Okay, because especially since the playoff has actually started, Notre Dame really can't run the ball for shit. You know, they can't throw for shit. I think Leonard had 80 yards passing last game. Their receivers aren't shit. Their offense just overall isn't like nothing on that offense really surprises me. Like nothing impresses me. Like Jeremiah Love, who we all expected to be one of the best running backs, in this playoff, he's hurt. He's clearly hurt because he's not playing the same way he played earlier in the season, right? That's fair. Um, Riley Leonard has been everything for this team. Like that's it. His
Mhm.
legs have won them multiple games. Their receivers like Faison, who was a former walk-on, I want to say, was a lacrosse player when he first got to Notre Dame.
Mhm.
He's been their best receiver. Um, I just don't know how sustainable this offensive scheme is for Notre Dame, given that they just can't really do anything other than have Leonard run the ball. For Jeremiah Love, he had that one 99-yard run against Indiana. Besides that, Indiana shut down the run game. You know, last week against Georgia, as far as the running backs are concerned, they shut down the run game. And like I said, Leonard only threw for 80 yards. I'm not sure how Notre Dame keeps winning, to be honest with you. They scored 23 points last week. 17 of them came in the span of 1 minute. They had kicked a field goal, strip sack. They scored a touchdown like on a 10-yard pass, and then they returned the kick. And that was how they got a majority of their points. Again, how sustainable is this offensive scheme? Now, defensively, they're elite. I was really impressed with the way they played against Georgia last week, guys. I thought they took
Mhm.
Georgia to the woodshed. That offensive line Georgia had was not bad. Like coming into the game, they graded out pretty well, and Notre Dame just had their way with them. Honestly, uh, nonstop pressure for Stockton, who again played really, really well, all things considered. Um, but just again, the Notre Dame defense really, really good. Xavier Watts is playing fantastic at safety. The one question I have with Notre Dame on the defense is their CB2, Christian Gray, I believe his name is. He's been getting burned all postseason. He's not grading out very well on PFF. In fact, he's one of the worst corners left in the country, um, or at least in the playoffs. So that could be a potential route or avenue that Penn State wants to exploit. But overall, Notre Dame's defense and special teams, I guess, has been fantastic. Mitch Jeter, their kicker, has looked a lot better than he looked like earlier in the season. Earlier in the season, he was really shaky. He's been clutch. He's been money this entire postseason. So for Notre Dame, um, I guess for them, Marcus Freeman, just kind of keep on doing what you're doing because it's gotten you this far. Like they are winning games um, by putting up box scores that honestly will leave you shocked. But hey, it is what it is. For Penn State, though, and I know T, you talked about it, how Boise State perhaps made that game closer than what it was. That's fair because their defense, especially through the air, has not been good. Like, Boise State, Maddox Matson was able to move the ball on them um, pretty easily. The run game shut it down, and that goes against SMU as well. They shut that run game down. So in this playoffs, that run defense is really carried over. Um, the biggest question for me is, what can Riley Leonard get something going through the air in this game? He hasn't shown me much this entire season. I'm not inclined to believe he can. But if you want to attack Penn State, it's going to be through that secondary. On the flip side, Penn State's offense has played pretty well these last 3 or 4 games now. Right against
Mhm.
Oregon, they looked fantastic. Against SMU, they looked really good. And against Boise State, I mean, Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen both looked fantastic in that game. Singleton looked really, really good. But then again, it is Boise State. There's so many question marks in this game. Can Notre Dame's offense finally get on track? Can they do something actually? Like, can they have a prolonged drive? And then for Penn State, can the defense play the way we know can the defense play the way we know they can play, especially against the pass? I have no idea who's going to win this game, guys. But if I'm going to get points with either team, I'll take the points. So I'll take Penn State +1, 1.5. I was kind of hoping this got to 3 because I would have taken Penn State +3. But as it currently stands, I'll just take the 1.5, 1 point with Notre Dame and just hope for the best. It's a really even game. But just the way Notre Dame has been playing, I just don't think it's sustainable. If you look at post-game expectancies, Georgia was probably supposed to win that game against Notre Dame. I'm not discrediting Notre Dame. They are a good team. They're a great team. But just in this game, there's so many question marks. I'll just take the point and hope for the best. Not a strong play, but I do lean Penn State.
In my quick question, which defense do you overall rank as the better defense in this matchup? Because they're both pretty similar, and they're both very, very elite defenses.
I'd say right now probably Notre Dame.
Yeah, I would say Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I would say Notre Dame's defense, but it's not significantly better than Penn State's. Whereas on the flip side, Notre Dame's offense, as it currently stands, is, I would say, not significantly worse, but it is noticeably worse than what Penn State's putting out there.
Yeah.
I know, Tyler, you're going to go right now, and I know we've been writing James Franklin these past few weeks, and he's been covering for us, but let's call a spade a spade. This is the game where we find out what James Franklin is made of, what Drew Aller is made of. Like, that's SMU. SMU's a good team. That's fine, but they were expected to beat SMU, especially at Happy Valley, right? Against Boise State, again, good team, great player, great running back, Heisman contender. But it was a G5 team, right? Massive step up in class for them. This is the game. This is the game where we're going to put money on James Franklin at the end of it. Either we're going to say, you know what, he's finally turned the corner, or we're going to say, fuck, we bet James Franklin in a big game again, and he burned us, you know? So I don't know how this is going to go, but I just want to point out that James Franklin, Drew Aller, this is the game that actually counts. You're not going to get any credit from anyone for beating Boise State and SMU. You're not. This is the one where you guys got to show up and prove to all of us that you guys really are what you guys say you are, or we think you are. So, as far as this whole James Franklin, apologies, I'm going to cut it short on that. We'll have to wait and see how this one turns out before we actually go that next step and crown James Franklin a big-time coach.
Yeah, I don't. On the Penn State has an X factor too here in Tyler Warren at tight end. He's been absolutely elite this year. One of the best tight ends I've seen in a long time. So Notre Dame's really going to have to key in on that more than anything on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not too worried about Penn State's receivers. I haven't been all year, but you're definitely right. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen have been absolute dynamite this year, and it's such a luxury to have them to swap in and out. You know what I mean? They're RB1, A and B. Like they're both that good. And Penn State offensive line is that good. So Penn State is going to rely on that both of those guys and Tyler Warren here, and Notre Dame is going to have to key in on that on the defensive side of the ball, which they have the defense to do it. They're elite on defense. I expect a low scoring game here, and I think you're right. Notre Dame's offense hasn't really shown us much, other than Riley Leonard saving their ass with his legs, and that's really about it. So I do think he will have to move the ball through the air here, especially if Abdul Carter can play and he's somewhat even 80%. If he's even 70, 80%, Abdul Carter is going to get pressure and be all over him in this game. But yeah, I mean, and Penn State's defense is elite as well. So I don't know. It's interesting. It could go either way. I do truly think it's a toss-up. I do like the under here. I really do. I could definitely see this being 17-13, 14-17, something like that. 2021. So, Big T, what do you think about this game?
This game is a complete coin flip for me, honestly. Yeah. I mean, they might as well be able to pick them 50-50 because
I'm sure it will be when the game kicks off.
When it kicks off, I bet it will be. Yeah.
Because I mean, it is a complete coin flip for me. The one thing that really worries me about, I'm going to take Penn State. I'm going to take the point. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to do it. The one thing that worries me about taking Penn State is I feel like over the past couple of games they have lived off teams turning the ball over. And I don't know that Notre Dame's I just don't see Notre Dame doing that because they just don't give themselves the same opportunities to be able to turn the ball over as they have with SMU and with Boise. So that's the one thing that really scares me with taking Penn State is they have lived off turnovers and they're not going to get them in this game. So that does scare me, but I trust in the defense to be able to kind of slow the run down, make them throw the ball. That's fine. I do think they're going to try to get the ball out quick to Faison. He's been playing really good ball for him in the playoffs, and he's really quick when he gets the ball in his hands.
Jeremiah Love's definitely not 100%. You can tell.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not 100%.
He's not playing the way he once was.
Yeah.
So I do think they're going to try to get the ball out quick, especially if Abdul Carter is playing because he can absolutely wreck a game for you. So I think that they'll definitely have a game plan for him in the game to get the ball out quick, get it out on the perimeter, get it to their playmakers, and try and get their guys in space. So I'm going to take Penn State. I don't feel great about it, but I do feel like they are playing very good ball right now. They're running the ball very well, and they're not really making any mistakes as far as turning the ball over. So I do honestly like the under too. I do like that underplay, John, because I don't see this being a shootout of a game by any means. It's two really good defenses going at it and two offenses with the struggles. So, but I'm going to take Tyler Warren and I'm going to take Kotelnicki.
I think time of possession will be key here.
Yeah.
Time of possession is going to tell who wins this game.
Can we just give some credit to Tyler for saying before the playoffs started, I will never back James Franklin again. I'm done. This will never hear that words out of my mouth again. And here we are, 3 weeks into the playoffs. He's back.
3 weeks in a row.
hey, but he's covered for you twice.
Cashed. They've cashed.
They've cashed. So let's see. I mean, can you imagine the scenes of Penn State's playing for a national championship? Like it doesn't compute in my head. That's the only reason why I kind of don't want to bet Penn State because I can't make that story work in my head. Like Penn State is going to play for a national championship. But I just think they are.
Yeah, that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to this next game here. Ohio State -6 playing Texas. Jose, I'm gonna let you go last on this one.
5.5 out there trying to pop up, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go last on this one because I know you'll have a lot to say about your Buckeyes. So. Big T, you want to start this one off, and I'll kind of piggyback off you here.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear what you say. I'm a little torn on this game, but I want to see what you have to say.
Yeah. It is 5.5 on Bet Online right now, so it has come down a half point. But there are some 6s out there still. I don't know. I may be completely wrong, and here's what I'm gonna say. I feel like this is an absolute no fucking brainer, to be truthful with you. But then me feeling that way and knowing the amount of people and the amount of money that's going to be on Ohio State to beat Texas makes me feel like I should take the number for Texas. And I feel crazy because Texas had done shit. They have not done shit against anybody to make me want to put any money on them. They ain't beat nobody. They ain't beat nobody. So, and Ohio State is far and away the best team in football right now. We talked all season long about, there's not really that one dominant team that is just kind of a little bit better than everybody else. Well, there is now, in my opinion. And I talked a lot of shit on Will Howard, to be honest with you. I was kind of, I was curious to see how he was going to do. I thought that was a random get for me. His accuracy in this playoff has been incredible.
That touchdown pass to Bucher was phenomenal.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude has been putting balls in mailboxes. His accuracy has been insane. Jeremiah Smith has been insane. Their defense, absolutely elite. They are wreaking havoc on the defensive side of the ball. Sticking to defenders, getting after. You know that you got a good defense with them because they don't have to send pressure to get after you. They can rush their front four, and that's it. And they can absolutely wreak havoc. So you've got 7 dudes back there who can be in coverage because they've got 4 absolute dogs who can get after you, and they will. They absolutely will. Now, with that being said, I still think Texas has one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the country. So I am curious to see that, but I just can't back Quinn, man. I just can't. I cannot back Quinn. It's just like it's in spurts. Like at times, he looks really good. He makes really good decisions. He throws a really good ball, puts it on, and they look explosive. And then at times he's just lost. And I just in a game like this, against a defense like this, against an offense that's rolling like this, and against a team as a whole that is absolutely playing their best ball, that is absolutely playing with the utmost confidence in the world right now, you cannot give them any opportunity to kill you like that. So I just don't see him being able to play a complete game. Chip Kelly he's been here before. Mastermind on the offensive side of the ball. He knows what he's doing. He's been in these situations before. So I'm going to take Chip Kelly and I'm going to take Ryan Day and I'm going to ride Ohio State again.
Honest question, real quick.
Honest
question. Who is the better offensive mind? Is it Steve Sarkisian or is it Chip Kelly?
I would say Chip Kelly.
Okay. Is Steve Sarkisian the best head coach left in the in the playoff?
I'd say probably yeah.
Okay.
I'd say probably yeah.
I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
The offensive mind
it's not by much,
but it's not by much. No, I would say he does have a slight edge though.
I would have picked Sark over Chip Kelly, by the way, but it's close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my breakdown here real quick, and then I'm gonna turn the floor over to you, Jose. Another good thing here for Will Howard is he's got Jeremiah Smith over there in Ibuka, and those kids are just absolutely nuts, especially Jeremiah Smith. He makes your life easy when you have him on the outside to throw to. Ohio State's playing their best ball at the right time, right? And I'll fully admit that I overreacted to this team after that Michigan game. I know that it's a big rival matchup, right? And you can't take it for granted, but I definitely overreacted a little bit to that game. With that being said, I don't really know where to go here. I'm gonna kind of see what Jose says and trust him on this one, because I don't know. I feel like at some point Texas. I feel like this is a high number for a semifinal game.
Yeah, that also worries me too.
And Texas could put it together at any point, right? But also, I mean, we just continue to see what Ohio State's doing to teams. And I know that this might be a bold statement or a hot take, but I still believe now, especially now that we're in the semifinals, that you could see Arch come in at any point. I know that a lot of people are saying this is Quinn Ewers' year. This is Quinn Ewers' year. Whatever happens, it's on him. But man, I don't know. If Sark had to do it, I don't know. I could see Arch walk out that second half, and if for some reason they were down like 21-0 or 28-0 or something. But I don't know. We'll see. I think Texas's defense can somewhat hold up. I think the offense is more the big question mark for me. Are they going to be able to keep up? In my opinion, I like the Buckeyes here. I think it's just anything under a touchdown, especially a 5.5, 2 field goals. I think that's key. That's a key number, 5.5 for me. I kind of like the Buckeyes here. They look like world beaters. They look unstoppable, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They do have a great defense that can stop Texas. Do I want to see Ohio State go to the championship game if Notre Dame makes it? No, not by any means. I'd rather it be Texas, but I think you will see Ohio State in that title game. Jose, I'm going to turn the floor over to you here. I'm going to kind of ride with you on this one. I trust you here, and because I'm not really sure, but I'm leaning Ohio State.
Real quick before you go into this,
yeah,
I know y'all are both on A&M in this basketball game, and I don't know if y'all turned it off, but A&M just took the lead. So,
damn. Shout out to my boy Wade Taylor for not playing.
There's the patented, very rare but very powerful. That we don't see it very often. There's the Tyler Flake right there, because I was hoping nobody would say nothing.
Tyler don't flake it much, but man, he just did.
But man, this.
I thought y'all had turned it off and hadn't even seen it. That's all I was going for there. That's on me.
I thought you knew my.
That's on me.
I thought you knew my my personality. I've told you guys before. I never turn a bet off, no matter what the score is, because I lie to myself and tell myself there's a way they can come back.
Yeah.
And when they were down 18
basketball,
in
There
any
is
sport,
always
but
a way. Yeah.
in any sport, but yeah, in basketball, there's actually a way. In other sports,
Yeah.
I still lie to myself and tell myself, "No, they can come back. Just keep watching."
Did y'all take a
Keep
spread or just money line for them to win?
I have
spread.
plus one and a half.
My fault.
No,
I took.
I took money line. I took money line.
I apologize. That
spread.
was on me.
But it's okay. We'll finish this out. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We want your take on this Ohio
that's
State
right.
Texas game. Me and Tyler gave ours. We're leaning Buckeyes.
I have so much I want to say about this game, and I don't really know how to get it out properly. So I might be going back and forth with my own thoughts on this one. But I'm just gonna start talking, and you guys can answer, or you guys can rebuttal, or whatever you guys want to say.
Okay.
But I first want to talk about the narrative of this game, okay, in regards to the Bucknuts, okay? Because after the Michigan loss, what you said, John, how you felt about Ohio State, everyone felt about Ohio State, right? We all
Yes,
counted them out,
definitely. Yep.
right, Tyler? Like we were like, dude, this team, how could you not beat Michigan? This Michigan team is awful. This team is ass, okay? So they play against Tennessee round one. Everyone's talking about how Tennessee's going to win. They're going to take over the stadium. It's going to be a Tennessee Vol fan fest over there. Ohio State has no chance. They're all counting out the Buckeyes. What does Ohio State do? They beat the shit out of Tennessee. We called that, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So they win that game. Okay. Next game against Oregon, number one team in the country at the Rose Bowl. They're undefeated. They played earlier in the year. Oregon beat them. Ohio State's probably not going to win this game. Everyone's kind of counting them out. What happens? Bucknuts beat the shit out of them. Okay. Now all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Ohio State's the best team in the country. They're going to win the national championship." Who do you guys know in real life that's not picking Ohio State to win it all?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they're minus 150 now, minus 145, minus 150.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's a bad number. That's fair. Like that's a fair number out there. In fact, I could argue there's probably some value on that number. Right? But overall, I'm just saying, like, when you talk about the narrative, like 2 weeks ago, what would we have made this line? Like, but after Michigan lost, Michigan beat Ohio State, what would this line have been? What would you guys have made this line, honestly? I'm not talking about. Yeah, Texas, Ohio State. Let's say they played round one after the Michigan loss. What would this line be?
Texas minus 2.
Is it going to be like Colin Wilson on Action Network catching heat after the Rose Bowl, claiming that Texas was minus 2 against Ohio State, which we knew right there was a bullshit number. That was not even close to how it was going to be, but whatever.
Yeah,
he can catch the heat for that one. But I think that's the line that probably would have come out had those teams played right after Michigan beat Ohio State. Tyler, do you agree, or what do you think the line would?
No, I agree.
You know, so we got to keep in mind, guys, this is still the same Buckeye team that did lose to Michigan. This is the team that did lose to Nebraska. I mean, that almost lost to Nebraska, right? It's not like, the question now becomes, did this team really just flip a switch? Can you do that? Can you flip a switch whenever you want and all of a sudden be great, right? That's the key question here, because this team still had problems, Also got to keep in mind, are we buying Ohio State at the peak of its market? Okay.
Probably.
We just saw Ohio State go to town on Oregon. Okay. Let's call a spade again. Ohio State will probably never play that well again the rest of the season. Like, they may not play like that again for the next 2 seasons. That was a phenomenal performance by the Buckeyes in the first half against Oregon. Okay. Like, that was what every coach dreams of. Everybody saw that on national TV, right, at the Rose Bowl. Fantastic venue, by the way. That's in everyone's minds. Oh, this team just took, Oregon to the woodshed. How could they not beat Texas? Okay. Again, you're buying Ohio State at the peak of its market, so let's just keep that in there as well. But I do want to reiterate the narrative part that I brought up, that everyone counted the Buckeyes out. Fast forward 2 weeks, everyone's a Buckeyes fan. Everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, they're going to win the national championship," right? So just food for thought. Keep that in mind. Okay. Yeah. Then we flip over to Texas. Okay. Well, what advantages does Texas really have in this game? Tyler talked about the phenomenal defensive line of Ohio State, but Texas has the best offensive line in the country, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have future NFL guys at every single position on the offensive line, right? Ohio State's offensive line did not magically get better in these last 2 weeks. I believe it's more of scheme. I believe it's more of who they've played. Texas also has probably the best defensive line in the country, right? Who gave Ohio State trouble this year? Well, Michigan beat them. Why? Because Michigan has 2 NFL players on that defensive line. They have one of the best defensive lines in the country. Offensive line couldn't do anything. Nebraska, we saw Nebraska give them a lot of trouble. I believe that was in Ohio State as well. Guess what? Nebraska also has a fantastic defensive line, right? So there's a common denominator here. Texas happens to have the best offensive line and one of the best defensive lines. So if they're going to have an advantage against Ohio State, it's going to be in the trenches, which is massive, right? Excuse me. We talk about Jeremiah Smith. We talk about Emeka Egbuka. They have a lot of weapons on the outside. Oh, for what it's worth, Texas has the Thorpe Award winner, Jedi Barron, right? He won the best cornerback in the country. I think he's a little bit undersized to cover Jeremiah Smith, but they're going to put him on him. They're going to, he's the best one. They're going to give him the opportunity to go out there and lock him up. Will he do it? I doubt it, but he may be able to do better than what these other teams have done against Jeremiah Smith. So when you look at it from that perspective, from a personnel perspective, Texas actually matches up pretty well, right? Like you could see, I can make a case for how Texas battles or at least covers this game. But man, that's the same thing we've said about Texas entire season, guys. Is that on paper they look really good? How could you possibly not bet? But we see them play against teams like Arkansas. No disrespect, Tyler. They don't look that great.
No,
they didn't even cover against Arkansas, right? Against A&M, which was probably their best performance, they only scored 17 points. Against Georgia, the two teams they've actually had to come up and play that had a lot of talent. Guess what happens? They lost both times. So there's just so many question marks in regards to this Texas team is going to finally put it together. I don't see any reason to believe that they'll put it together this game. I don't know why this game will be the one they put it all together. Very, very hard game to break down. But this is either going to be the biggest gift the books have ever given us, Ohio State -5.5, or this is exactly how Vegas makes their money.
See, that's what I was saying earlier. Like,
this how Vegas makes their money? Because I don't know anyone betting Ohio State at work. And again, I'm not saying people at work are some sports gurus or anything, but at my job, or anyone that I'm around, everyone says the same thing. Oh, Notre Dame, Penn State, that's going to be a tough game. But Ohio State, that's the lock right there. Ohio State -5.5, that's the one you want to take. Everyone says that. I can't find a single person that's not saying that. You know what I mean? So do people know something we don't? Because this line keeps dropping for some weird reason, right? It was 6.5. Now it's down to 5.5.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. It's a very, very peculiar situation.
It feels trappy.
It feels trappy. Like this is either the trap of the lifetime or this is the gift of the lifetime. I see no reason to believe why Ohio State can't cover this 5.5. But just I don't know. It doesn't feel right. And the path is there for Texas to cover. With the trenches, right? And relying on their defense, which is really good. And you still have the best coach in the country, the best coach left in the tournament. And Quinn Ewers, for as much as we don't like him, he's not awful.
No.
Right? It's not like he's amazing. You're also buying Ohio State at the peak of its market. We got to remember that as well. You got to remember that as well, which does matter. Like these numbers do matter. From a pure numbers perspective, guys, what do we make this game? 4.5? 5? Like that's what the numbers should truly be. Now we're getting 5.5, 6 points with Texas. I don't know. I kind of lean Texas here just on a pure numbers perspective, and the avenue is there. But my God, I want to take Ohio State so bad.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, there's absolutely nothing. Strictly looking at the teams, like looking at the games, looking at how the playoff has gone so far, there's absolutely no way in the world, in any way, shape, or form, I should want to take Texas. That anybody should want to take Texas.
It's so enticing though because
it truly is.
Like,
it is, but
Ohio State. Jose's completely right. Ohio State may never play that good again.
Yeah.
The rest, I don't know. It's just
trust me. If they play like that again against Texas, just hand them the trophy. No one's gonna beat them.
Yeah.
Notre Dame or Penn State will not beat them.
But that's what I was saying earlier. It's like I feel like strictly from a numbers view, like you said, I almost feel like we should bet Texas.
Right.
The whole country is going to be on Ohio State. After what they just did to Oregon, the entire country is going to be on Ohio State. And this does feel like a big trap, and I do feel like the books have been losing quite a bit of money on.
They have. The books have been taking the cleaners these last few months.
Yeah, because the favorites have been winning and they've been covering. Yeah. So I mean, every game in this playoff so far, you bet the favorite to cover, and they have, and that's where the majority of the money's been.
Zurich Phelps is a dog, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm listening, though, guys.
No, you're good. I just
hey, anyone watching this right now, you're getting true uncut footage of us, of raw footage of us sweating bets
Yeah.
out while
He
breaking
ju-
other
he
ones down.
just-
That's
he just
that's the life that we
dropped that
chose,
kid.
and I'm fine with it. I enjoy this 1,000,000%. This is the life that I chose.
Yeah, he drilled that thing.
He just dropped that kid and drilled it.
I'll take a 3 right
Uh,
here. I know John, you need him to win, but I'll take a 3. I have 1.5.
Do you,
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do. I honestly think it shouldn't be, but almost in my mind, this is almost as harder than
So,
the
We're,
Penn State game.
we're all in agreement, right? Fundamentally, we agree that this line is either this line is setting up to be a
Undoubtedly.
landmine.
Undoubtedly.
You know, like this. But from a numbers perspective, it really shouldn't be this high. Like it should be closer. Like,
Yeah.
but again, the problem with Texas is that it's everything's good on paper. Everything's good on paper, but once we actually see it on the field, it just doesn't mesh
Yeah.
up for some reason, right? Like they still look good. They look good enough to win. They've gotten this far, you know. But again, even for Texas, that first half, that first quarter against Arizona State, I was like, wow, Texas looks good, guys.
Elite.
They're
Yeah.
gonna blow this team out, and for whatever reason, they can't put it together. Even against A&M, right? Remember that game against A&M? The first half, I was like, wow, Texas looks great, but they let A&M hang around, and they still won the game. But like, it doesn't look they can't put it all together.
Yeah.
They got to put it all together here. I don't know. It's just such a bizarre game for me. I want to take Ohio State, but again, the matchups are there. Texas can control the trenches, and that's the key here. So I don't know, John. I mean, is this not a landmine for you, John? What do you
it
think here?
definitely is. I was going to ask you a quick question. It definitely is. The numbers wise, just looking at numbers, I would be on Texas numbers wise because it just on paper on numbers I lean Texas here, but from what I've seen with the eye test, I lean Ohio State. So it's definitely tough. And I was going to ask you really quick, if Ohio State come out and scored quick, it looked like they did last week on that first drive. Would you bet Texas live if it was, over what? I don't even want to know. I don't know if it'd go over 10, but it might.
So I was gonna bring up this, not argument. I was gonna bring up like this, present the scenario to you guys because there's a reason why I asked. Do you think Sark's the best coach in the country?
Or
Best
Texas,
offensive mind.
Would you take
Yeah.
Ohio State money line?
So here's my thought process in this game is that before the game starts, you take Texas 5.5, 6 points, right? If you know that Texas won the toss, if Texas is getting the ball first, you take Texas 6 points because you already know Sark's gonna scheme up. You know he has the first drive already scripted up, and you're gonna put your faith in Sark that he's gonna script. He's gonna be able to produce a touchdown.
Yeah.
If Texas scores that touchdown, do we come back on Ohio State minus 2.5 and just play it like that, 6 to 2.5? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there's so many different ways to play this game. I think we're discrediting how good Sark is as a coach, and I think we're discrediting Quinn Ewers for a little bit as well. Like, he still is quality. He's not terrible.
for sure.
He still can play. I know, Tyler, you're not his biggest fan, but he still can play ball. He's not
Yeah.
absolutely awful. You know
No,
what I
he's
mean?
good. It's just very spotty. Like
Yeah.
if he would put a full game together, then yeah, and that's just for the team as a whole because they just let people hang around.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me so nervous to back them is they let every team hang around, and Ohio State is not a team that you can just let hang around because if you let them hang around, they will get you. That's what makes me so worried about it.
But you talked about it also, Tyler. Is that in that Ohio State has been so reliant on their front four getting pressure just off the bat, and this entire entire CFP playoff. Tua Malau and Jack Sawyer finally playing like the 5-star recruits that they were, But if they can't do that against Texas, I don't know. Like we won't really see how good their defense is. I mean, their defense kind of been living it just off the fact those front four guys can get pressure. If they can't generate pressure against Texas, I don't think they're going to be able to do it consistently. We'll have to really see how good this Bucknuts defense is.
Yeah.
Like this. I mean, for us, yeah, we bet Ohio State these last 2 weeks, which is fantastic for us because we cash. That's all that matters at the end of the day. But going into this game, like they haven't been tested, they haven't been battle tested. Like they've been blowing everybody out. Like I would like to see how they react in some sort of adversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, will they face adversity in this game and how will they respond? I don't know. I just feel like it's a landmine. To be honest with you, like I feel like this is the landmine of all landmines. Every now and then we come across a number that seems fishy to us, and this one seems fishy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we admit that like the value is on Texas, like the line shouldn't even be 6 points. It should be like 4 points. But
I would say for a semifinal playoff game to be a touchdown is
lot.
wild. That's a lot of points.
would you guys rather bet Ohio State minus 3? Would you rather bet Ohio State minus 3.5 or Texas +7.
Texas +7.
Honestly, probably Texas +7.
Ohio State -3, Texas +7.
I'd take the 3.
I'd take the 3 as well. I think.
Okay, I'm just
I
trying
don't
to.
know.
I'm just trying to.
Just because
It's
Texas
so
kicker is
tough,
going
man.
through
It's
some
so
shit right
tough.
now.
It's such a bizarre game. It's a
Yeah.
bizarre game to break down, but
But
Um,
we've given our breakdown and our analysis here on it, and you can kind of tell we are torn, but we think we know which way we're going. But that's why you should follow our actions to keep up with what we're posting. Um, but we're not done. Stick around here. We got a couple quick hitters we're going to go through real quick. NFL playoffs are starting. I'm going to run through some games really quick, and you can just kind of give a quick insert on who you think will win, why, or cover the spread, and then we'll start wrapping this up and make a few small announcements next episode, stuff like that. Saturday, Tyler's Chargers playing the Texans. Tyler, I know you're going to this game. Chargers are -2.5 here. -120 is what I'm showing. Over under 42.5. Anything quick from either one of you on this one?
Yeah, it's a flat 3 on Bet Online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So if you bet it,
I'm looking at DraftKings.
yeah,
By the
on
way.
Bet Online you do get the flat 3. So as far as betting it goes, I would do the Houston +3 home dogs. Field goal.
Mhm.
I don't feel great about it now. As far as the potential matchups that we could have got in the playoffs, this is the one I wanted over Pittsburgh or Baltimore. So
Yeah.
out of those 3 teams, this is the matchup that I wanted. So we'll see how it goes. So I think we're going to have everybody back and healthy. So Quentin coming off the game of his career.
Yeah, Quentin's really
last week.
seemed to step it up lately. I don't know what's changed, or
I don't know. He still has some drops, but yeah, but it's
been a
not
lot
every
better,
ball like it was last year. And I think honestly, last year the team as a whole is just
I mean,
there was no confidence in the building.
I know y'all are getting Tyreek, but I bet you wish he was there right now.
Yeah, I would kill for Tyreek right now, but no,
Hey,
I'm fine with it. But
okay, but they didn't get Tyreek, but they got the next best thing, Zeke.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my!
Jose,
Yeah,
you got
what's going
anything
on
for
there?
that game? I mean, I don't really know. I kind of lean Houston here, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I like Houston there 2.5, 3 would be preferred.
Yeah.
But nothing concrete to be honest with you. If I can't get a 3 on Houston, I probably just won't play it at all to be honest with you.
Okay, cool. Pittsburgh playing Baltimore. Baltimore is -9.5, and I think that is the biggest spread of the weekend. Baltimore's looked dominant. Lamar's looked MVP caliber. Him, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. I've not been a fan of. I know that they play good ball. They have a really good defense. I know this is actually a rival game, right? And that's a lot of points for a rival matchup here. But man, as Baltimore on offense looked incredible this year with Lamar at the helm.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I kind of like the 9.5 here for Baltimore, but I know that is a lot of points for a playoff game. Would you guys got anything you want to add?
yeah. Pittsburgh has got to figure something out offensively. That they've been on a big skid past 4 games. Baltimore's clicking on all cylinders, but like you said, that is a lot of points for a rivalry game. Past 2 matchups, in the playoffs, past 2 matchups, the Ravens did get the better of them, 34-17. But just before that, the Steelers did beat them 18-16. So if Steelers can figure it out offensively, I think it would be a lot closer game. And I did see a stat. Now it's a very small sample size, so take it with a grain of salt. But teams going into the playoffs on like a 4-game skid or like 5-1 against the spread or something like that. So
Really,
especially in a big rival game like this. So gun to my head, that's a lot of points for a playoff game. I guess on Bet Online it's a flat 10. So if I was to take anything, I would take that. But I don't feel great about it. I'm not going to bet it.
I
Jose,
actually
you
think
got
I
anything?
am. Yeah, I think I am gonna bet that one. I think I'm gonna take Pittsburgh getting 10 guys. I think that's a little too many points there.
It's a lot of points, definitely.
It's a lot of points in a rivalry game. This kind of feels like the prototypical spot to. I mean, the better spot to back Pittsburgh, right? Like historically, you want to back Mike Tomlin when his back's against the wall. You want to back Pittsburgh when their back's against the wall. That's when they play at their best, when everyone counts them out. like that rah Mike Tomlin, mindset. So I think this is kind of where you want to buy low on Pittsburgh here, getting 10 points, like you guys said, in a rivalry game, in the playoffs. They get their best bet, they get their best shot. So I'll take the 10 there. Nothing massive, but I probably will be on the Pittsburgh side.
Yeah. Denver playing Buffalo -9. I really like Buffalo here. I think no Bo Nix is an older quarterback for the NFL, but he is still a rookie. And I know Broncos have had some magic this year and have played some good ball. I like Buffalo here. I think Buffalo's got a real chance to go to the Super Bowl. What do you guys think?
I don't have much on this one. This is not a game I plan on betting, to be honest with you. If Denver comes out and scores a quick touchdown, or maybe goes up 10-0, and Buffalo is like a live pick, I'll bet Buffalo because I think this Buffalo team has potential to make the Super Bowl. But nothing off the rip. I'm not looking to get involved in this one.
Yeah, Big T,
Yeah.
anything?
Same for me. If I'd go one way or the other, that is a lot of points for a playoff game. So I would kind of lean Denver in a way. Um, Buffalo secondary hadn't been the best. Cortland Sutton's playing good ball. They get the ball out quick, get the ball to Troy Franklin. I think Cortland Sutton can create some mismatch problems for them. I'm not saying they're going to win the game because I don't think, but I do think they could possibly keep it within that 10. So, gun to my head,
Okay.
I'd lean Denver, but no play.
Yeah, cool. The game I'm absolutely stoked for. I'm so excited for this game. Green Bay playing Philly -4.5. Philly -4.5 here over under 45.5. Sounds like Jalen's going to be good to go from the concussion. Christian Watson is out for the year towards ACL. Good thing for Green Bay is they have a lot of weapons at receiver. Green Bay's lost 3 of their last 5. Man, this is a tough one for me. I think the line's right here, but this is my favorite game of the weekend. I'm excited for this one.
Is this line based off Jalen not playing because he hasn't practiced?
No,
I'm
it's
not
based on him
sure.
playing. I can't imagine he's not going to play this game, guys.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I say
because he
probably
hasn't.
coulda- I say he probably could have gave it a go next week, but he's just been taking it easy and resting.
Yeah, I don't know. He hadn't even
I'm sure they would
practiced
have cleared
in
him.
like almost in a little over 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of concerns me. I don't know if I knew this line was um, based off him not playing, I would say I would probably still take Philadelphia because there's probably you're behind them low at the lowest number.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I would still probably take Philly because Green Bay has struggled recently.
Yeah, they have struggled, and you got a lot of Philly's got a lot of options on offense, and then if Jalen is back, that just adds one more problem with his legs. Um, but AJ, Devontae, Dallas Goddard, Saquon having the year of his career. I do like Philly here. I think they also have a chance to go to the playoffs if everyone can stay healthy.
And I will say, I'm sure Jalen's going to play, but if he wasn't going to play, like they would probably play Kenny Pickett just because he has more experience than Tanner McKee. But the past 2 weeks, Tanner McKee has looked phenomenal. I don't know if
Yeah,
y'all
Tanner
watched any of
McKee's
those games.
looks way better.
Tanner McKee has looked really good. And
Mhm.
I think they would have to play Kenny Pickett out probably just
Yeah,
because
his
of the
sports
experience factor. But
weird
Tanner's looked
fact,
good, dude.
his sports cards have taken a huge bump from his play the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's looked really good last 2 weeks.
Um, Washington playing Tampa Bay -3. Can Jaden Daniels do it all again? Uh, the rookie wonder at quarterback. Can he will Washington to a win here against the Buccaneers?
I don't think he can.
I don't either. I lean Tampa.
I lean Tampa as well. I've seen
Yeah,
Jaden
they're
Daniels
playing
too
good
many
ball.
times pull some wins out of his ass this year. I think it kind of comes down crashing in this one. And we remember that
Mhm.
Chicago game where that Hail Mary where it bounced off that player's hands and caught it on the rebound against Atlanta a few weeks ago when I had them. Atlanta against Washington, that was kind of a lucky one as well. And against Dallas last week too, Dallas played pretty well, even though Jaden Daniels didn't play the entire game. Um,
Yeah,
I just think Washington's due to lose one, so I like Tampa Bay here.
yeah. And then last but not least, Minnesota playing LA in a game that I am another game I'm actually really excited for, and one of my favorite bets of the week is I will be back in Minnesota here at -1.5. I think they bounced back after that game against Detroit, one of the better teams in the league. Minnesota did not play bad at all. They were in the red zone 4 times. They should have scored all 4 times, and they just didn't convert. I think Minnesota is one of the better teams this year. Kevin O'Connell is a genius at quarterback. He's got weapons on the offense. He's got a good defense. Brian Flores is an incredible defensive coach. I really like Minnesota here. This might be my favorite NFL play of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I like Minnesota as well. I think they're going to do a better job of protecting Sam Darnold than they did a week ago, but I do like Minnesota in this game as well. Too many weapons.
Yeah, I disagree completely. I think the Rams win this one. This is probably my
Yeah.
favorite bet of the weekend, guys. So we'll go ahead on this one. For that exact reason Tyler just brought it up. I know everyone likes to talk about Nakua and Cooper Cup, and for good reason. They're phenomenal. But I have massive concerns over that Vikings offensive line, guys. That Detroit D line is not talented at all. Like they're down to like the third and fourth stringers on there, and they got consistent pressure on Sam Darnold. And that was a Sam Darnold of old last week. When you put bodies in his face, he reverts back to the way he looked like during his Jets days, or even his
Mm,
Panthers days. And the
seeing
Rams have
ghosts.
a yeah, Rams have a very underrated pass rush. They have 3 players. I forget the rookie's name, but he's fantastic as well. They have three or
Verse.
four. Yeah, Jared Verse. There we go. They have 3 or 4 players that can rotate on the defensive line and play well. So I don't like what I saw out of them last week. I think they played fine overall. The defense played better than what we thought they were, but um, oh yeah, I think I like the spot for the Rams at home as well. Even though there are probably more Vikings fans there than Rams fans, to be honest with you, they're still at home, no travel in this one. So I like the Rams quite a bit, guys. Their offense, in my opinion, is very very good, but their defensive line is very underrated. So this will be my biggest bet of the weekend, and we'll go head to head, and the best man win.
So if the Rams win, I'll get a Ram tattooed on my ass, and if the Vikings win, you'll probably get a Viking tattooed on your ass.
I don't like them that much. I'm not that confident. I'm not that
Oh,
confident though.
all right. We're gonna start wrapping this thing up here. I'm gonna give out a couple quick hits. I hit last week, so I'm giving them out again. Hideki wins last week at 20-1. Pretty much saved my entire month. Absolutely dominated the tournament. This week they're still in Hawaii playing at the Sony Open, a tighter course, a harder course. Accuracy is key here. Um, and I got 4 plays for you. I've dialed it in here. No Scotty still in the field, so that helps a lot. So a lot of people did go back to the states to get ready for other tournaments, but we still have a really solid and loaded field here. Uh, and my 4 picks this week is Corey Connors at 14-1. Played absolutely phenomenal last week. Just kind of lost it there at the end. He is one of the top favorites in this outside of Hideki. Hideki's at +900. Tom Kim, 20-1, another 20-1 right here. I love Tom Kim this week, especially with no Scotty. Tom Kim is one of the best players in the country, in the golf field, in the PGA Tour, whatever you want to say. Tom Kim should dominate this week. He's accurate. He's got strokes gain approach. He's a great putter. Um, and then my last two here is the youngster from Florida State, Luke Clanton at +4,000, 40-1. I was shocked when I saw this number. I had Luke Clanton closer to 20-1, 18-1. So there's a ton of value here on Luke Clanton, who can absolutely do it all. The number one college golfer in the country from Florida State. Looking to make his name known on the PGA Tour. He should definitely be at the top of the leaderboard. And then a oldie but a goodie, won this tournament before, has placed top 15 like the last 8 years. Old Matt Kuchar coming back. He don't hit the ball far, but you don't need to do that here. Keep it in the fairway, put it on the green, and be a good putter, and that's what Matt Kuchar can do. He's always been good here. Every year he's in contention, and he's at 80-1 +8,000. If I had to pick one for y'all to pick, I would go with Tom Kim most likely, followed by Luke Clinton. So those would be my 2 picks that I am more favorable of, in my opinion. So Tom Kim and Luke Clinton. Jose, you got anything you want to add here? Australian Open soon or anything like that?
Yes,
You got
I
anything
do.
you want-
The AO, I've been counting down the day. Starts tomorrow night. I'll be watching it. I believe it starts at least my time, like 11 p.m. all the way up to like 4 a.m. So I'll be doing my best to stay up and watch these matches. I have one future bet that you guys might want to partake in. Um, it's Arthur Fils, the 19-year-old French phenom, at 45 to 1 to win the Australian Open. Last time out, he placed. I believe he got knocked out in the quarterfinals when he was 18 years old. He has a phenomenal serve, playing really good tennis right now. So if you guys want to take a flyer with me, you guys want to stay up and watch these tennis matches with me, Arthur Fils is the guy I'm putting out there at 45 to 1, played down to 40 to 1 to win the AO.
Mhm.
First Grand Slam of the year.
For who's the favorite for that? Is it Carlos Alcaraz? Is that who it is?
It
Is
is
he the
not.
favorite?
He is the second favorite. The favorite is Jannik Sinner. He won.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who was a fantastic tennis player, although I think he's a bit overrated, but a really good player in his own right. I think I would bet if I had to make a bet on who I think is actually going to win, it's going to be Alcaraz. But
Yeah.
Jannik Sinner is a fantastic tennis player, um, and he won the last. I believe he won Wimbledon last year, which is why he's got so much love in the market.
Yeah. Is Novak playing?
Yeah, all the big names. This is the first
Yeah.
major tournament of the year. Everyone,
Yeah.
all the big names will be there.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
watching to get us in some tennis, huh?
Yeah, I'm about to throw some tennis bets down.
When does it start?
These
Tomorrow
are
night.
these are. I remember last year I bet on Novak at like 3:30 in the morning, and I watched the whole match. It was absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I got into tennis as well. Although I didn't bet on it, I was actually scrolling through ESPN Plus one morning. I couldn't go back to sleep, and it was the only thing on, and I threw it on, and I just fell in love with the game.
yeah, um, Tyler, you got anything you want to add?
I don't believe so. I believe that'll do
Okay.
it.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here. You guys hear us talking about 3:30 betting on tennis. There is a phone number out there for anyone that's addicted to gambling. It is 1-800-GAMBLER. They can get you some help. Um,
Hey, trust me. If the amount of people that called that number that actually needed to call that number, that shit would be out of service, dude. Like, you know.
Oh Lord! But you heard it here first. We got an Australian Open outright for you. We got some Sony Open PGA Tour bets for you. We got some wild card bets for you. We got some college football for you. We're still posting college basketball, just not really fully deep diving into it just yet. We do appreciate y'all being here. Follow us on our actions. We will see you all next week, Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and we love you guys. And again, all the people in LA, you are in our thoughts. The people in New Orleans, you're in our thoughts. But yeah, uh, we thank you guys for listening. We love you guys. Follow us on Action, Twitter. Keep your eyes out on Reddit for us, and we will see you guys next week.